Of the Ghanaian Times, let's unite to strengthen democratic institutions. Veep to African political leaders. Now, FDA ordered to pay 93,000 Ghana cedis to Tobinco, 93 million, sorry, to Tobino Pharmaceuticals. I'll give you details. And Bese Manche ushers in Gamashi Homowo, performs rites to begin celebration of iconic events. And I'm waiting for some quick way.
All right, the Daily Graphic says COCOBOD invests 942 million cedis on farms. That's according to its CEO. And there's also the Homowo story here. Chiefs deserve bigger role in governance, Vice President says at Homowo. Former President John Mahama says it's pleasant to be vindicated. And on the back page of the Daily Graphic, Hearts of Oak win the Homowo Cup. They beat Hearts of Lions via a penalty shootout.
The front page of the New Finder. The New Finder. BOG adds $6 billion of gold to reserves through domestic gold purchase program for economic stability. And then also on the front page of the paper is a Tobinco story as well.
If you go to the Daily Guide, Dr. Baumia is speaking. He says, reject Mahama's return to power. That's coming from the vice president. COCOBOD is also investing in cocoa farms here. The court story that exonerates Tobinco also here. And Ernest Owusu Bempa is saying that the OSP's investigation into the Airbus scandal is a whitewash.
Tobinco made it to the front page of almost every newspaper.
It's a big story. I don't know if you know the challenges they had with FDA many years ago, but this is a significant story.
I'll give you details of it. And then Ernest Owusu Bempa. Is he still with the NPA?
No, I think
he's with Ghana Gas.
He's still with
Ghana Gas is PR.
He spends a lot more time doing this thing than Ghana Gas.
So what's the headline there?
He's talking about Airbus scandal. Says Jabin did a shoddy job.
And he's speaking on which
fixing
capacity?
the country movement.
As fixing the country.
Go and do Ghana Gas and stop these things.
Okay.
The Republic Press has Brian Champon here. Who says we'll win 2024. Brian Champon charges MPP. And our complete agenda 111 hospitals to help you get jobs. Mahama tells trainee nurses. Central Bank of Liberia reaffirms financial strength of the banking sector. And Napo is here saying breaking the eight is not possible without God.
The front page of the New Publisher. Charlotte Osei calls her removal as EC chair petty, unnecessary. Napo pushes for house-to-house campaign. NDC chairman accused of making party unattractive.
The Daily Analyst also has a raft of the stories we've done. So John Mahama is telling the government to pay the trainee nurses arrears, and then you have Tobinco's story here as well. And the foreign minister is replying, John Mahama, no diplomatic tension between Ghana and Burkina Faso. And the IFRIG is advocating. It says now is the time for research-based poverty alleviation programs.
Front page of the Ghanaian Publisher, Samir Ukus on the front page. NLA raises Lotto commission to 25%. Tobinco on the front page. Offensive North MPP boiling. Napos on the front page after paying a courtesy call on traditional rulers in Nzima. And this one, stop behaving like a land guard. Family tells Greater Accra Regional Minister.
The BNFT says investment in a great value chain remains non-negotiable. This panelist speaking at the Ghana Economic Forum. On the topic of corporate governance, SOA's profitability revolves on corporate governance. That's coming from EK Foley. And Fidelity Bank leads charge in climate resilient agriculture with 10% loan allocation.
I'll put three newspapers together, Bernard. The Daily Searchlight, the Daily Post, and the Informer. All of them are carrying the Tobinco story. The Airbus scandal also makes it to the front pages of those papers. And then the Inquisitor as well goes with that, as well as the visit of Napo to Nzimaland.
All right, let me take you to ChannelOne News for a change. This is the lead story. Election 2024, it's only God who can help us break the eight. This is Napo speaking. Other stories. Nkrumah founded Ghana. You can't write history. Ayarga to Akufo-Addo. MPP will secure election 2012 victory by any means necessary. Brian Champon is claiming. And then we wanted to focus on jobs. Mahama on why he cancelled nursing training allowance. Two other stories. Blackwood donates medical equipment worth $1.2 million to the MEPEP Health Center that we built. And then Franklin Kujo describes Special Prosecutor's Airbus report as exceptionally thorough. If you go to my journal online, we can't stop Galamsey. The youth have no other jobs. This is a chief telling Baumia. Meanwhile, we need truthful, sincere leaders. Professor Pokwa Ajimani is speaking. the Titus Glover story is also here. Family describes Titus Glover's land guard demolition at Dodo as land guard activity, and they threatened to sue. Meanwhile, he himself has been speaking to Citi News on that particular action. Other stories: Paris Olympics has ended. Everybody's looking, is commending the spectacle that took place there. Let's deal with the details of the story.
Let me start with Tobinco because it's everywhere. So let's get that out of the way. On page 3 of the Ghanaian Times, FD ordered to pay 93 million Ghana cedis to Tobinco Pharmaceuticals for unlawful destruction of drugs. Story by Malik Suleimana. The High Court in Accra on July 29, 2024 ordered the Food and Drugs Authority to pay a total of 93 million to Tobinco Pharmaceuticals Limited for the unlawful destruction of unexpired drugs belonging to Tobinco. In 2014, the FDA confiscated pharmaceutical products imported to Ghana by Tobinco on grounds that the products were unwholesome. In 2019, Tobinco sued FDA and asked the court to award costs against the FDA and declare its action as unlawful. Tobinco, the plaintiff judgment creditor in the suit was presented by Mr. Philip Addison of Addison Bright Sloan Barristers. In reaching a decision, the court, presided over by Justice Audrey Kukovite, declared that the wanton destruction of Tobinco's unexpired products without obtaining any order from the court was unlawful.
Okay, that's staying with vindication and all of that. Page 13 of the Daily Graphic has the former president John Mahama speaking, and he says it's pleasant to be vindicated. He has stated that it's a pleasant feeling to be vindicated in the Airbus scandal. He says, quote, "No allegations of wrongdoing have been proven against me, including the baseless Airbus brouhaha that the government attempted to clothe me with." End quote, he stressed. And he was speaking as the guest of honor at a lecture in Kumasi to mark the 10th anniversary of the passing of Sir Paul Victor Obeng. He said members of the NDC did not place themselves above society.
So Obeng died 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yes.
It's come quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
staying with
that, the Fixing the Country movement also have a response. They've shared their thoughts on this on page 3 of the Chronicle. Fixing the Country movement and non-partisan and non-political civic movement has registered its displeasure over what it described as a shoddy investigation carried out by the Office of the Special Prosecutor to clear former President John Dramani Mahama of any corruption-related offences in the Airbus corruption saga. According to the group, the OSP erred in law in its judgment on the matter and has called for an immediate revisit of the matter in the interest of the public and governance accountability, since Mr. Mahama and his brother Adam Mahama have a lot of questions to answer. The group further called on other relevant authorities to institute a public inquiry into the Airbus scandal.
Let's go back to the Daily Graphic. Cocoa Board is investing 942 million cedis on farms. Now, the story is written by Rhoda Mponsa, and it says the Ghana Cocoa Board spent almost 1 billion cedis last year to rehabilitate aged cocoa farms and those ravaged by the swollen shoot virus disease to help increase national production in the short to medium term. The money was used to fund the cutting down of diseased and aged cocoa trees, nursing and planting of seedlings, as well as maintaining the rehabilitated farms before handing them over to farmers across the country. Now, this was according to Joseph Boahin Edu, who's the CEO of Cocoa Board, and he said that the investment in farmers and farms had led to the board's administrative cost increasing to 3.4 billion cedis last year.
Let me tell you about Homowo, because yesterday parts of Accra was agog as they celebrated this one. On page 12 of the Ghanaian Times, the Gbeseman Chenia Ibonte, the second over the weekend, performed the traditional sprinkling of Kwekwe as part of the celebration of Homo Festival in Accra. Homo is a festival not only intended for merrymaking, but also to thank the gods and ancestors for blessing the people with bountiful harvest after a long period of time. And the newspaper's editorial says using Homo Festival to restore Accra to its greatness is a good idea.
Meanwhile, the Vice President is saying at Homo that chiefs deserve a bigger role in governance. It's on page 13 that Nathan read an earlier story from the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has reiterated the importance of the chieftain's institution in the development of a country, stressing that there was the need to increase the role of chiefs in governance for national development. Now, I brought that because there's another chief telling Bawumia something different.
Okay.
This is on my job online, where the chief says, we can't stop Galamsey. The youth have no other job. Now, I'm told that there are over 3 million young people involved in Galamsey.
What?
In this country. but this is not in this particular story, but this is something that experts have been discussing.
Yes.
The chief of Achim Wenchi and Osia Wuhine of the Eastern Region, Dasibre Dr. Asumedu Apia, has openly said that the youth in Wenchi and its surrounding areas, this is the Eastern Region Wenchi, are likely to cease engaging in illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey, despite efforts to curb the activity. According to him, Galamsey is the only source of employment in the area, making it difficult to eradicate the practice. He suggested that stopping it without providing alternative livelihoods would be futile. Instead, he recommended that the government introduce a more regulated activity or community mining scheme. This approach, he believes, would allow the state to benefit financially from the activity while preserving the environment. And he criticized the practice where the central government from Citi in Accra grants mining licenses and permits to companies without consulting the chiefs. He called for a change in the approach to ensure the traditional authorities are involved in decisions affecting their communities.
Let me take you to the new published on page 3, where vexed youth have raided some illegal miners. 2 individuals involved in illegal mining activities have been apprehended by the youth in Fumso, located in the Dansa-Sokwa district of the Ashanti region. The actions of the youth were driven by the severe pollution of 2 local water bodies, River Fum and Prekum, caused by illegal mining operations commonly known as Galamsey. The youth, outraged by the environmental degradation, decided to take matters into their own hands. The illegal miners' equipment were confiscated by the youth, and both the suspects and the seized items were handed over to the police for further investigations.
A lot of political stories with many comments that you describe as bombast. But I'll just read a few. So, for example, we will use every means to win 2024 Brian Champon. This statement is on multiple websites. I'll read the Citi version. Then the NDC replies him in another version. And then the running mate for Bamia also says, no government in history has built more schools and invested than Akufo-Addo. So quite a lot of political things being said. So Minister for Food and Agriculture has reiterated claims that the MPP will use every means to win this year's general election. Speaking at a campaign rally in Sawam, Mr. Champa emphasized that the NDC would not win the election. He indicated that MPP has all the capable hands on board who would use whatever means necessary to ensure that the party gets victory in December polls. Then they quote what he says: "We will do whatever it takes to win the election. We are a political party with that we have pastors, imams, and traditionalists. So whatever means we will take to win the election, we will do so. Bend the sea if you don't understand," he said. So he left it that way. Then the NDC has responded. We had that story on our news, but let me read another version. A deputy communication officer of NDC, Malik Basintale, says that you will see fire and return power just as you left Senate hotels. So this is what our politicians have been doing this weekend while we have been going to church. The Minister of Food and Agriculture, of course, stated what he said. Now, responding, Mr. Malik Basintale issued a strong response on some comments he made. Now, he basically said that we just observed that Mr. Champa attempted to take over the Senate hotels and intervene, and now he dares to say he will not hand over power to former president. I have a message to him. If December, so basically everybody's on rally just talking. He says just like he gave back the Senate hotels or whatever happened in the Senate hotels, he will also hand over power.
So we are officially in campaign season.
Then the other one is still on Citi. Napo says no government in history has built more schools and invested than Akufo-Addo. So the running mate of the MPP, Dr. Mateboku Prempeh, also known as Napo, has reiterated that the Akufo-Addo administration has outperformed all previous governments in Ghana's history. Speaking at the official launch of the Ashanti Regional MPP Campaign Working Committee and Women's Conference in Kumasi, Dr. Prempeh highlighted the numerous achievements of the government across various sectors, urging party faithful to rally behind the MPP and Baumia to secure victory. So he started talking. He mentioned Agenda 111. No administration has governed the country and commenced the construction of 111 hospitals. No government in this country has built schools like Akufo-Addo. But he didn't give details of the schools though. But he mentioned the Agenda 111. No government has established universities like Akufo-Addo. He didn't elaborate on the universities. Then he says no government has employed nurses and doctors, over 200,000 like Akufo-Addo. And no government has employed teachers like Akufo-Addo. And no government has experienced intense hunger. Sorry, no government has experienced this intense hunger, pandemic, and giving out free food, light, and water like Nana Akufo-Addo's government. So I'm sure we'll have some time to discuss this. But it's interesting that he did not give examples of the universities and the schools. But he mentioned Agenda 111.
He's talking to MPP folk, is he not?
But still, whoever you are talking to, whatever you say should be true.
Okay. On page 2, Napo is also here. He went to Nzimaland, after that particular one. So the vice presidential candidate of the MPP, Dr. Matipuku, has paid a curtsy on traditional rulers in the Nzima area in the western region. The nationwide visit was to introduce himself to the traditional rulers in the country following his public outdooring as running mate to MPP flag bearer Haji Dr. Mahmudu.
A version of what I saw suggested he apologized, but I'm not sure if that's in this paper.
No,
because
so
what I've seen online
coverage,
said he went to meet the chiefs and sort of patched. They had said he shouldn't come to my area, but he went there and they sort of smoked the peace pipe. So, but I'm not sure that's the same place he was talking about the no government in history issue.
Yeah,
but
so it is mentioned here.
Place.
Yeah, says that quote. There's a quote here that says Dr. Apoko Prempeh prayed Nananon to forgive the NPP government of any trespass and pray for the government to deliver the goods. I have apologized to the chiefs of Etuabo, Beyin, and Kroful and Axim, as I've already apologized to the nation.
Good. Let's go to the Titus Glover story.
Yes, stop being like a langard. That's on page 3 of the Ghanaian published. I have it here. Saberima Esakwisi Mensa Bediako III, chief of Enuma Semankesi and a prominent member of the Doikese family in Obosumasi, has condemned the actions of the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Daniel Titus Glover, likening him to a land guard. The chief expressed his dismay over the minister's involvement in leading a joint military and police team to demolish family and private properties at Dodoa. The minister's action, he claimed, were carried out without adherence to Ghanaian law.
Well, he said on Citi News that people have encroached upon land supposed to be a forest. And whilst the president is trying to build a country, people are misbehaving and building anyhow. And he's not going to allow that. So that's his angle to the actions he took. Now, there's so many other stories online that I thought we should just bring. So this is a very good one. A Black donates $1.2 million medical equipment to Mepe Health Center. This is on ChannelOne News. And it says that the MP for Norton, Samukudefa Black, has donated medical equipment worth $1.2 million to the Mepe Health Center. This was built by Citi FM Channel 1 with support from the Ghana Chamber of Mines in April as part of relief efforts for communities following the devastation caused by the Akosombo Dam spillage. Now, the MP, in collaboration with SOS in the USA, donated the dialysis machine, incubators, suction machines, beds, wheelchairs, and other medical supplies to enhance healthcare delivery. I can safely say that this is no longer a basic healthcare facility because the kind of things that they are giving this hospital and the amount of land they have, I think this can become a proper large-size hospital because there are about 20,000 people in the Mepe community who will benefit from this particular facility. So we commend the MP for fulfilling his promise. He did make this promise when we went there in April to launch the hospital.
Okay. Let me wrap up for you with some international headlines on page 5. Rwandan president sworn in after 99% election win. Our president was there. Mali expels Swedish ambassador amid strained relations with the West. And just to wrap up from the Olympics, Kenya's Kipyegon won her 3rd straight gold in the 1,500 meters, cementing her place as the greatest in that particular discipline.
The African medal table was not good at all. I mean, we didn't do that well.
Who's that? Who is we?
Africa.
No, yeah, no, there's no we, yeah, Masa.
But Ghana didn't
Kenya
win.
did well.
Ghana did
no add us to their mix.
Kenya got like 3 gold in athletics.
They did okay.
3 gold.
They did, but they won medals.
Even Nigeria didn't win any medal.
They won medals.
No, I'm not trying to equalize, but think about
Masa,
it. We didn't even reach any final.
Yeah.
Nigeria didn't win any medal.
Yeah, got to finals. We didn't do well.
There's something we didn't do well.
Don't say Africa. Ghana didn't do well. Africa, those who went there to do well. Did Botswana not do well?
They got just 2.
What do you mean by just? How large was that the delegation? In all the events that they were expected to medal, they medaled.
Yeah. Silver in the relay, 200 in the
we
gold.
will not unite in this matter.
The performance of Ghana is completely meaninless
unless
it is totally linked up with the overall performance of Africa.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Oh, jump!